Hello, Pyrio, and welcome to your deck review. For those of you joining us on YouTube for the first time, this is a series where I, Maldhound, a known hater and sometimes roaster of commander decks, will politely and lovingly review your commander deck's weird little PP. Your PP being your premise and your practicum. Your premise is the idea behind your deck, it's what you want the deck to do. Your practicum is what the deck actually does after you shove a bunch of crap in it. So we're going to spend a little bit of time going over this person's idea, whether or not it can work in the bracket they want it to work in, and then we'll look at their specific cards, give them cuts, adds, complete rebuild suggestions maybe. So this idea is I want an Obscura themed deck, specifically the Esper faction of New Capenna. And so we have a few rules, which I do hate, but this deck is for you, not for me. So we have to run the big boss, but not as the commander. We have to run the confluences, the charms, and the two family-specific lands. Now, this is so few total cards. This is totally okay. If you want to do rules like this, you know, you in bracket 2, bracket 3, you can make yourself run 5 really bad cards and still be okay. So what we're doing is Keza, who pings one person anytime we draw a card. And we're trying to use Keza to make it down to tokens, get that, like, draw your second card every turn benefit. And here's where I want to stop us the first time, because one of our problems is we're not really doing that. And the reason we're not really doing that is Keza doesn't help us do that at all. Right? We talk about making tokens. She talks about making somebody lose 1 life and me gaining 1 life, which might be able to translate into a token through some third card, but she doesn't help us make a token directly. She does not help us draw our second card every turn correctly or directly. She just translates our card draw into a little bit of value, but even not very much. So one of our dissatisfactions is we're not winning with like Watcher in the Water and Alendra and Azor, which are our fun cards. We're instead just like, oh, I got Peer into the Abyss, okay, that'll win a game. Or Enter the Infinite, okay, that'll win a game. And like, yeah, that's what Keza is meant to work with. So we can have Keza be in the command zone, but Keza is not a I spam card draw engines type of deck. She is just not good for it. Keza is really good for a control deck that is then going to try to combo win with a massive card draw bomb. So like you go Keza, you stop everybody else from winning, you tutor or impulse draw, you do something to find Peer into the Abyss, Enter the Infinite, you cast that spell, and then you try to win the game. That's where Keza wants to be. Now we can still use her for an Obscura themed deck, but I think even for New Capenna Obscura, she is more about being a +1/+1 counters commander. And that is going to sound weird at first, but stay with me for a second, because the way we can get +1/+1 counters here, gaining life will often translate to getting +1/+1 counters on your board. So what Keza also says for us is if I have something shitty, like Voice of the Blessed, every turn I'm going to draw 1 card and I'm going to get a guaranteed counter on this guy. Keza means we can run stuff. What's this? Their mana value is 4. I think it's Exemplar of Light. Keza lets us run stuff like Exemplar of Light and get a guaranteed second card every turn and get 2 counters on this creature and build up a threatening board that has become threatening through the drawing of cards, but we're not just spamming like card draw, card draw, card draw, card draw, card draw. Obviously, that can work because in Magic the Gathering, cards are very, very good. Having more cards than other people, very, very, very good. Casting Toxic Deluge on your opponents after you've drawn very many cards, very, very, very good. But like, if we have Rhystic Study Consphinx, yeah, nothing else has room to breathe. The stuff that is Keza oriented is going to take over the deck, because Keza is the only thing that's guaranteed in this deck. So let's look at our token makers. Like, I like Chasm Skulker. I think Chasm Skulker is good for this. I could see Alenda and Azor being good for this. Yeah, like the problem is this guy's not good. This is a life gain synergy I don't really believe in because it doesn't turn on until we're drawing 3 or more cards. Uh, Whenever you cast a spell, if its mana value is equal to 1 plus the number of soul counters on Obscura Ascendancy, put a soul counter on it, make it 2. Okay, this is terrible. So this is a completely dead card. Like, the thing I would also question is why we're making these rules when we then don't have to adhere to them, like, basically immediately. That's not really something I'm gonna keep needling on, but I think it's something for you to consider, because if we're making these rules, ideally we want them to be a rule that adds, like, flavor to the deck or adds a slant to what the deck is trying to do, and I don't think it does for this deck, right? Like this, and obviously, like, this is quite bad, it's quite rough, but Obscura Ascendancy, from a strategy point of view, looks like it wants you to go kind of medium wide. It wants you to have counters and manipulate counters, which is kind of in line with what and use it to beat people to death, which is kind of in line with what I was talking about when it comes to using things like Exemplar of Light, potentially doing some type of pseudo life gain, um, pseudo card draw benefit. And we've, like, put it in the deck to satisfy a condition and then abandoned everything that it wants to do. And we've just gone and said, like, okay, what are the best cards possible now that I have, like, checked a box? Your commander deck should be more than checking a box because you're building it for your own enjoyment. What is the Ascendant? No, not the Ascendancy. Where's the Charm? Because you said we had to play that as well. Does that impart any other flavor? Visual grid type. We just won't even do tags because the Charm is probably an instant or a sorcery. Nothing here. There it is. We get to bounce something, we get to counter something, or we get to destroy something. So just control-y. Very generic. Doesn't really impart any flavor. What's the confluence do? We care about conniving, we care about tricking people in combat, and we care about using our graveyard a little bit. So I think we can lean into that. There's some stuff that's going to give you benefits for conniving. There's going to be some better ways to connive. I think that Keza is probably not the best commander to do it, but even like Kamiz, they care about conniving. They care about beating people to death. And I know you said you turned away from Kamiz because you saw people were building it as infect. You don't have to do that. Straight up. You just don't have to do that. So the way you make this deck better, I'm going to move into strict adds and cuts. The way you make the deck in front of me better is we drop stuff like Defacing Dusk Mage, we drop stuff like Benny Braxuologist, you drop stuff like Detective of the Month, because what you care about is not them. Like, mechanically, this deck doesn't give a shit about them. Mechanically, what this deck gives a shit about is getting to big engines like Consecrated Sphinx, maybe Krang, but even not very much. Marnius Calgar, Pivot, maybe Watcher, but really you want to find Enter the Infinite and you want to find Peer into the Abyss. And the way you find those is not by trying to drop like investigation engines or second card every turn payoffs. The way you find those is you go, okay, Drawn from Dreams. This isn't even to draw cards, but that's the problem when you put in incentives like this, because we are now caught in this type of thematic friction where the things we can do to make the deck execute better, these are the things that execute. These guys don't fucking execute very much. Because the political problem I'm worried we're going to have is people know that Keza is a soft combo deck. Like, Keza is a very known quantity in Commander. Many people have built decks with her. Many people have done the like hee hee hoo hoo peer into the abyss thing. And that doesn't mean you can't play them because it's overplayed, but it means that when you put them in the command zone, and you begin trying to draw a lot of cards, people are going to go like, ooh, threat, and they're going to try to get you. And if you just keep pinging them more and more, like one at a time, they're just going to go like, ooh, double threat, ooh, triple threat, even though all you did was like cost them like 3 life or something. So if I were to do a Keza deck, I think I would care a little bit more about life gain, because that's what the commander talks about. I would care about life gain. I might be willing to use other really efficient card draw engines like Dark Confidant that cost me life because I know that I'm going to get it back. I would be more inclined to utilize things that are going to get counters when I draw cards. So, hey, New York is basically New Capenna, right? I would care more about things like this. I might have a couple, draw a second card every turn things, but the problem we're going to persistently have here is Keza just doesn't give a fuck about drawing your second card every turn. There's the Exemplar of Light thing where he can draw you the second card every turn, but like we're in Esper, drawing our second card every turn is already easy as fuck. Harmonized Trio is really cute. That's downright adorable, especially if we make in tokens. So let me look at the Pride Mate. Okay, come on. Oh, I think it's just Pride Mate, because I've looked this up a few times and it always escapes me. So these are things that gain counters because we gain life. So we talked about Exemplar of Light. There's Archangel of Thune. There is Aerith Gainsborough, who can then spread all of them to our other legendary creatures. Explore is kind of cute. There's this vampire rogue who looks kind of like high society-y. And I'm gonna try to not waste too much time going through all of these, because we really would not want to play a million of them, but I think there are a few standouts that we could try to make work. The other thing to try to make Connive work. How are there this many leader cards? There's a new guy printed in Marvel who cares specifically about Connive. I do think, with the dropping of Marvel, you could do a Kamiz Connive deck that did not have to be infect-based, because there's Leader Super Genius, there's another, like the Villains Precon. The Villains Precon has a lot of bullshit. I swear to God it has more than this. I swear to God it has to have more than this. What am I thinking of? I think there's a new thing that like lets you discard from your graveyard to cast on a later turn. But like I would be trying to connive max and beat people to death with efficient or annoying on the ground creatures, and that seems more Obscura focused, because they seem kind of like nefarious, they seem tactical, but what we're doing here is I sit in the corner and I don't do anything until I inevitably win the game with one of the cards that we've previously talked about. We have like Mystic Remora, who is infinitely more important than anything else in this deck. We have a land. We have a land. We have a land. Now we Teferi's Ageless Insight. And it's like next turn we probably take a turn off just to board wipe. We aren't really setting up anything. I have no idea how many cards we've drawn from Mystic Remora. It's more than 0. But we like go Detective of the Month. We can't set up Detective of the Month because we have like a life gain payoff that doesn't convert to card draw and kind of converts to damage, but we need to draw an awful lot of cards. It overall feels very, very distracted to me. And as long as you have cards like this in the deck, I don't think it gets any less distracted, because these are always going to be the best things to do, and the correct thing to do is always cut a win draw second card each turn card at random, doesn't matter because your deck already doesn't give a shit about them, and put in something that can find your combo win sooner. And I realize that's not what you're going to do because that's not what you want to do. I'm simply trying to highlight that friction we're going to keep bumping into between your idea of what this deck should do and, practically speaking, what the deck is currently built to do and what the deck wants to do. So, like, you know what I think would be most fun for Keza? I would be looking for some combination of, I'm going to use that O-Tag Pridemate. I know you said you started playing in Aether Drift, so a thing you should get very familiar with is the Scryfall Advanced syntax and the O-Tag system. The O-Tag system is other people will tag a card with like, oh, these are the things it cares about. So Pridemate is a tag named after Rajani's Pridemate. It just means when you gain life, get a counter on a thing. And I would be using Keza as a almost like a Loro-esque guaranteed life gain trigger at the beginning of each of my turns. It's not as guaranteed as a Loro because he does it with Eminence, but he's a bitch, so who cares about him? And I would be going like, yeah, I'm gonna get Keza, I'm gonna get a Pridemate, and then I'm gonna go to combat, and I'm gonna try to get something that draws me cards when I hit you. And when I draw cards when I hit you, I'm going to gain a bunch of life, so I'm not as worried about you swinging back at me. All my stuff is going to get way bigger, and I'm going to have a ton of cards in hand to like interact, to remove your stuff, to protect my stuff. And then I think we can get something that feels kind of like Obscura-y going. You know, it feels like Daggers in the Night type energy. So I think the O-Tag you care about for this the broad O-Tag for when I hit you, I would like something good, is Saboteur. So you can just look through this O-Tag, find things that look fun. Grim Hireling's very effective. You don't really need Rankle. This will be one of the few decks I don't recommend Drana for. I would try to stay pretty focused on thing that can draw me a card, or maybe thing that can proliferate, because we're going to be leaning into more of a +1/+1 counters energy. And then, you know, you can throw in Leader because he's just a good connive card. Like, him by himself will be useful flavor. If we don't have Kamiz in the command zone, we can't make this a connive.deck situation. I would also be using things like Lila and Iron Man that can translate our card draw into +1/+1 counters on our creatures. And then there's good proliferate payoffs like Lulu that can also de-incentivize people from attacking us. And I would be trying to do this like, hoo, ha, keep away, I smack you. Keep away, I stab you. Keep away, oh, you have sepsis now, I pooped on that knife. Bang, 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 bang. And the whole time, I am drawing a few more cards than you. So at a pivotal moment, I can cast some like important protection spell like Clever Concealment. The counter strategy will also open you up to better one-sided board wipes like Damning Verdict. Many of the Pridemates are also relatively small. Same goes for a fair number of our Saboteur effects, and so you can also use board wipes like Austere Command. The biggest problem with Austere Command is it will board wipe your commander, but I think if you have a big board or if you have a medium board of creatures who have gotten their money up, I think we'd be okay with that. Or you can just send the Artifact or Enchantress player straight to hell. But that is where I should be. That's where I would be. And on the, you know, how do I do Keza that cares about drawing my second card every turn and doesn't just noodle arm until I draw and peer into the abyss? You don't, really. You don't. I think you're playing every single one, if not damn near every single one of the best things that that would set this up. Like you could chuck in, oh you poor soul, oh you poor soul. Yeah, we have like we have Phyrexian Arena, we have Rhystic Study, we have Smuggler Share Trouble in Pairs. Like you could change the mix a little bit. I think right now we're favoring things that draw, or things that care about the second card drawn, more than we're favoring things that draw us the second card. Because like this is unreliable, that is unreliable, that is unreliable, or it's very mana hungry for it to be reliable. This only works if we already have the card draw engine going, then it's great. Uh, this only works if we have a different card draw engine going. We can't keep this around very long. This one's solid. So I could see this getting more reliable at triggering the second card every turn effects if we did more shit that was just like, holy shit, how do I draw one more card every single turn of this game? So there's Phyrexian Arena, there's also its friends Requiem Monolith, there's also Sinistral Gnarlbark. And these all specifically do draw you a card instead of things like Dark Confidant, which doesn't draw you a card. So changing that ratio will help you a little bit, but I think for the most part, you're always gonna feel to some degree like, man, who's even the commander's name? I've said so many card names. Why doesn't Kai'Sa care about anything but Peer into the Abyss? It's because she's designed to care about Peer into the Abyss and Peer into the Abyss synergies. So I've laid out a different path that I think would be a little bit more Obscura flavored. If you disagree, that's all right. But to make this deck mechanically better, you're going to look at the OTAG Impulse, or you're going to look at Tutors, and you're going to cast Enter the Infinite sooner. And that's the whole game plan. I do also think you are light on ramp. It seems like in most universes, you would want to have between 7 to 10 2-mana ramp options instead of 2, just so we could ramp reliably, because most of your good engines are pretty mana hungry. So we want to make sure we can get to those quickly. If anybody in the comments has any other suggestions, please let me know. I wish you the best of luck, and I do hope this helps.